You never know. Hello world, my name is Matt Spa and I'm a photographer and video producer in Atlanta, Georgia. In my last video, I did a review of this small RGB LED light from Andor. And it's a great light and there was a lot of people that were kind of interested in this, but there were many more people who were interested in the little stupid color thing that I had going on behind me. It was something like that. And so people were asking, how did you do that? What did you use for that, etc. So any attention's good attention, and I'll take it. And I thought I would do a follow-up video and talk about what these lights are. I'll talk a little bit about build quality and how I use them and what I like about them and what I don't. This is not a full-blown review by any means, but just me sharing some information because some people were interested in it. These lights are the Godox LC500R. And like the last light that I reviewed, there's a lot of these wand type lights on the market. Let me grab one and show you. Here it is. Look at that. This one is I don't know if it's unique because I haven't tried them all, but I would say it's unique in my experience in the way it's set up and kind of how it functions. So let's talk first. Let's turn it off first there and talk a little bit about the functionality here. This light, and again, I don't know if this is unique or not, but it has barn doors, which is really nice. They are extremely handy. Saves you having to tote some flags with you. The barn doors come off, and the reason for that is that the way this light is made, the CCT lights, the white lights, are on one side. All the RGB lights are on the other side, and you can control all of that with the remote. So here we are back in the color fade mode. If I go to the CCT mode, they're on this side, and that is at 70%, by the way. So this is a really bright light. I don't know that I've ever used these at 100% before. I'm usually in the 40 to 50% range. You can control everything from this little control wheel that's on the light, but I find using the remote is a lot easier because it's just bigger, and I'm old and I need big buttons to push. So anyway, it works there. This is more intuitive for me. In terms of the CCT color side, I think it's another one of those that's, 96 CRI or better. I don't have color issues with this. It will go from 2500K to 8500K, and it will actually do that in 100K increments. So if you're trying to match some ambient light, if you're trying to match some ambient light or something like that, you can do that fairly easily. I'm gonna knock this down a little bit to say, I don't know, 15%. How's that? On the RGB side, you've got a bunch of color presets on the remote here. So I can do just straight color, but then you also have effects and an HSI RGB mode. So you can do the full color spectrum in 1 degree increments, and you can control the intensity and the saturation in 1% increments. Is that right? Did I just say that right? Yes. There's also an RGB mode, so you can put in the actual red, green, and blue numbers that you want if you have something that you need to match exactly. Handy if you're trying to match somebody's logo for something. So anyway, the barn doors, I think I already talked about this. They flip around depending on which side you're using, or of course you can leave them off. There were some people that complained about these. They found them fiddly to get to fit. There's a little notch on the barn door and a little slot on the light. I've never had a problem with these. I've never broken them. Speaking of breaking, they're very resilient. These have hit the floor a couple of times. They are all plastic. There's no aluminum or metal here, but it kind of, I guess, keeps the weight down, which is not significant. These are not terribly heavy. Is this gonna blind you if I turn this? Man, oh man, I'm just gonna turn it off. There we go. So, my finger hit it and turned it back on again. I'm gonna turn it off for real all the way. There we go. On the bottom, there is a brass 1/4-20 tap that's embedded in the plastic. I've never had any issues with that getting loose or wobbly, and I've had these for over a year, I think. Normally what I do is put this in the end of an extension arm on a C-stand, and I use it as a hair light, Or I'll use it as I did here, just screw it straight into the top of this stand and use it as a rim light or some fill on a background or something like that. I have actually used these as key lights before in an area that was kind of ambiently lit, and I was able to match the ambient lighting and then just kind of run this off my subject and then use the barn doors to keep the light from hitting the background too much. It worked really well. And which kind of brings me to on-site portability. They're awesome for portability. The cases are very stout. They're nice. You know, it's not cheap. You could show up with this and go, you know, it's my light in this case. It's good. They're padded on the inside and they've got the little form fit things for everything. The remote slides in right here. The DC adapter that plugs into the back of this will charge it. I think it takes a couple of hours to get a full charge, and a full charge for me at 50% power, I can get usually 3, 4, 5 hours out of this before it totally dies. One thing I love about it, and one reason why I would not buy a competitor, is that this light will run with the DC power in. So some lights, if you deplete the battery, will not function until you've plugged it in and the battery has recharged to a certain point. These will run off of the DC power, come from the wall, and then run off the battery. So you're not going to interrupt a shoot with these. I think that's basically it. They're very functional. They're robustly built. They're not terribly expensive. If I didn't already mention it, I think these were about $239 each or something like that. And they're great performers for me. They do have the wide range of special effects. So we got to hit the special effects. And each special effect has multiple settings. Maybe this is standard for all of these. I don't know. Like I say, I don't own a bunch. So in the color fade, you've got 3 different options. You can change how fast it fades. There's a, whatever that is. What's that, like lightning? Yeah, lightning. You've got multiples. Light bulb. Light bulb? What is that? It's just a faster blinking bulb. Lightning. And there's multiples. Here's like bad bulb, I guess. What's it doing? That's not doing anything. Oh, there it is. Flickering bulb. You've got TV, 1, 2, and 3. Candlelight, campfire. A little bit harsher party effect kind of thing. You got the cop car, you've got the fire truck, the ambulance, music. It'll go with music. Boots, boots and pants and boots and pants. And then of course SOS. They all have SOS. So if you're broken down on the side of the road, this light might save your life. Until then, thank you very much for watching. I hope this has been helpful. And if you're thinking about getting some of these lights, you should get some of these lights and tell me what you think about it in the comments down below.